If you guys are in the market for one of these automotive power supplies, if you do any type of programming, so for me, I use one of these GM MDI2s, and I do some programming on occasion with some different control modules. All the manufacturers have their different requirements in regard to voltage. Now, there are some cheaper alternatives out there that you can see that can provide maybe 5 to 10 amps. And yes, you could maybe get away with those if you do a control module that might only take 10 seconds to program it. But some of the higher demanding programming jobs, you might do, a module and it might take you an hour or two. You really need to get something like this. Now, these aren't the most expensive out here, and these aren't the cheapest out there either. These are somewhere in the middle around that $400 or $500 range. I wanted to do this quick video here because one of these up here, I was very disappointed in it, and I'm going to return it because it's all busted up. And I want to make sure I walk through kind of the differences between these two models, because if you're in the market for one of these power supplies, there's a good chance you're probably familiar with both of these. And I want to show you my overall initial impressions of both of these here today. So to get started, over here is the Schumacher INC100, and this one charges at 70 amps, 20 amps, or 4 amps. And it also has a power supply rating of up to 100 amps. With that 100 amp power supply, it does say that it will only do 100 amps for a max of 3 minutes, but it will do a 70 amp continuous. Over here on the other side, we have the Clore Automotive PL6100. And this one charges at 60 amps, 40 amp, or 10 amp. And then it also is capable of giving a power supply of 0 to 100 amps. Now, both of these, they are also capable of the voltage requirement, so you can adjust that voltage to whatever you want. If you're not familiar, like I mentioned there a minute ago, all the manufacturers have different voltage requirements. So a lot of the ones that I do on the GM side is 13.4 volts. Every manufacturer is different. And this Clore Automotive, they actually have a good chart out there, and I'll put a link in the description where it shows you every single manufacturer and the voltage requirement. So both of these do have the option to adjust up and down to get the correct voltage supply, so you can make sure you're not over or under supplying the correct voltage depending on the manufacturer and the module that you're programming. In regard to the price, our Schumacher is going to roughly be around that $425, and then the Clore Automotive is going to be around that $500. So this one is just a little bit more, and you'll see from a weight standpoint, if we compare both of these, this one's going to come in at roughly 9 pounds, 10 ounces. And over here on this Clore Automotive, it's quite a bit heavier, and it's 14 pounds, 11 ounces. And it's because a lot of the different stuff it has on here, these are welding style connections. So it is a little bit beefed up, which is why it weighs a little bit more. In regard to the cables here, so over here on the Schumacher, this is going to be a 14 gauge, and you can run just a standard 15 amp outlet. Over here on the Clore Automotive, this is a 12 gauge. It is a little bit thicker, and you must use a 20 amp outlet for this one over here. Then moving on to the cables, again, over here we have 4 gauge. Then over here on the Clore Automotive, it's going to be 2 gauge. In regard to compatibility, these basically will charge any battery. So all your standard automotive, your AGM, your marine deep cycle, various different things, you can charge with both of these. So these are very similar in regard to the specs that you're going to get. In regard to the operation, they're both very simple to use. So over here, you just have your flash programming where you can adjust the volts to whatever you want. So you can go to 14.8. All the way down to 13. Then over here you have your display, so you're at volts here, or if you want to do amps. Over here is your mode, so you got a service mode and a boost mode for your charge. Then over here you just have your start and the stop. And over here on our Clore Automotive, so first you have your mode selection. So again, there's the power supply, and then you also have the charge mode, so you can flip it back and forth. Then once you get over to the power supply, here's your voltage reading. If you want to adjust the volts, simply adjust it there, and it's going to go to 13.1 all the way up to 14.9 as well. And they both also have different reverse polarity protection. That's what some of these airs are down here in case you get things hooked up incorrectly. Then if you want to switch it over to charge, you simply put charge over here, then your type. So you have your standard AGM and some of your other lithium batteries. Then here's your rate where you can go 60 amp, 40 amp, and 10. Then you're also going to get a charge and a charge complete up here as well. So again, a very easy setup here on this one as well, where you can easily identify what you need to do and select the options you want. So moving on to kind of why I'm even doing this video to begin with, because I wanted to make sure if you're in a similar situation out here, you don't make the same mistake I did. I first bought this Schumacher over here, and I'll admit I've been buying Schumacher stuff for years, and I kind of just blindly chose it because of the name. But when this thing first came in, I opened the box and I immediately heard there's something rattling in there, and I immediately was somewhat disappointed. I thought, okay, let me just open this up and see what it is. Maybe it's, just a washer or a bolt came loose and I'll just tighten it back up. But let me give you a peek inside here and show you what this looks like, because honestly, it's kind of embarrassing for a $400 unit. All right, so with the side panel removed, the first thing you kind of see is I seen a bunch of these plastic clips that were broke off. Something that was soldered in there is no longer soldered, so that broke. But I started looking at these thinking, what the heck are these and why are they in here? And then I took a closer look, and essentially how this whole thing is put together in here, there's little like plastic clips that all they're doing is, if you look here on this side, this clip at one point was right here holding that board in place. And then on the other end, it's just a plastic piece down here. I mean, these remind me of like the temporary plastic pieces you see on kids' toys that are meant to be temporary. So this entire thing, including up here for your display, it has a very similar setup. So it's not even bolted down. It's simply, if you can see that, it's simply just resting in there. And this clip is all that's holding that in place. Then if you look a little bit further, you're going to notice in here, everything is all glued together to keep it in place. So they simply have a glue over everything all over the place in order to keep this thing put together. So yes, the outside is all aluminum. It looks very professional. It looks nice, but man, the inside is just really, really cheap. And I'll give you a couple close-up pictures. It's just, I don't hardly believe what I'm seeing in here. And if you look at some of the reviews out there, yes, I could probably go in there and fix that, but I don't want to. I'm more concerned about the whole thing's held together by plastic inside there. If you put this in an automotive shop, or it's in your garage where you're going to get hot temperature, you're going to get cold, and things are going to be fluctuating, that plastic's just going to crack. And that's probably what happened here. It's in the middle of the winter right now. So, maybe when this thing was coming, the temperatures, it just caused it to crack. But I've seen a decent amount of reviews on this that, one, you have issues like this happen where the fan stopped working because, something that was soldered at one point is no longer and it broke. Yes, you could always go fix that. But, the bigger thing is you start seeing some of this stuff here. If that cracks and this whole motherboard gets shifted in here and these aren't there, this thing's not going to be useful in the future. And, you're for sure not going to want to put this in a shop where you're going to be moving this all around, because it's probably going to crack the first time you use it. So to say this was a disappointment when I opened this up would be an understatement. And if we come over here on our Clore Automotive, it's a completely different setup. Again, we have our welding style connections, inside there. We can look in there, and again, I'll give you some close-up pictures if I can show you there, where it's all bolted down. Everything's 100% secure, and it's as you would expect for a piece of equipment that's going to be in your shop. So like, this thing is built like it feels like you could just toss it off the back of this table and be fine. This Schumacher over here, you toss it off the back of the table, it's probably going to fall into 15 different pieces. So from an overall build quality standpoint, this Schumacher over here, I'm not sure if I'd even pay $100 for that thing, because you have to be very fragile with that if you want this thing to last. Versus this over here, this thing is honestly built like a tank. It literally looks like you could have this thing for the next 20 years. Versus over here, you might be lucky if you get a couple months out of it. And again, if you look at some of the reviews out there, a lot of those reviews are telling you that exact same thing. All right, well, hopefully this video helped you out if you're in the market for one of these power supplies. If you're interested in getting this one, or, again, if you want to take a look at the specs or some of the reviews on this one here, I'll put links in the description of both of these where you can check them out on your own. But if you're in the market for one of these power supplies in that mid-level range, around that $400 or $500 range, this Clore Automotive has been very impressive. I've used it a couple times. Again, as I mentioned there before, I do a lot of GM programming, so I use this MDI too. It's held the voltage perfectly. I've charged a couple batteries, and it's actually charged them very quickly as well. So I've been very impressed with this, not only from a build quality, but the operation. It's been flawless the last couple weeks, I've had it. So, again, I wouldn't hesitate. If you're in the market for one of these, check out this Clore Automotive. I think you'll be very impressed with it. I'll put links in the description of both of these if you're interested in seeing more, reviews or seeing some of the specs on both of these as well. But if you're going to buy one of these, I really highly recommend this, and probably skipping this model over here. So hopefully this comparison helped you out if you're in the market for one of these. If it did, please give me the thumbs up. If you're interested in more content like this, please hit that subscribe. But again, I hope this helped you out, and thanks for watching.